have seen that they're being forced out by the Europeans. And this is an important market. I mean, the Russian economy depends on oil and gas, and it doesn't depend on, you know, Fabergé eggs or whatever. And that's very dangerous for them. Because and they say, oh, we'll build up plants in the Far East. It's not that simple, you know. Strategically, yes, yeah, we always have China as a alternative source to supply, but that's a very long-term and very dangerous thing. So I don't want to mix, you know, the Molotov-Ribbentrop too much with what happened today. Molotov-Ribbentrop by its own is enough to show the similarities between fascism and Bolshevism. This is a very different approach, I think.
Since we're on the topic of anniversaries, I was in Moscow a month ago, and I just strolled around the Kremlin. And right at the main gate entrance to the Kremlin, there's a museum, and the main exhibit was the Poltavskaya Battaliya, 1709, the Battle of Poltava, the 300th anniversary of the Battle of Poltava. And this symbolizes, I think, the different conceptions of history that Russia and Ukraine have. For Russia, this was a great victory. For Ukrainians, it was a moment of defeat and humiliation. Can there be some association between this anniversary? You know, everything seems to be coming together. The battle, the anniversary was in June, June 27th, I think was the day of the battle. And also another factor that plays into this is one of the things that Medvedev accused Ukrainians of anti-Russian is because they claimed that the Holodomor was in a genocide. They denied the fact that this was a genocide against the Ukrainian people. All these historical arguments coming together, and along with a number of other excuses to bring home the point.
Oh yeah, I think it's all, you know, what you're saying is absolutely correct, because, well, just in the Medvedev letter, the only thing he doesn't mention is the Battle of Poltava. You have to remember that the Ukrainian hetman Ivan Mazepa, at the time, after the battle, he was excommunicated from the Russian Orthodox Church. He still is. And they're very touchy about that. You try to get him reinstated back into the country club, ain't going to happen. But there's also another reason that the Russians look at sort of this history. And the Poltava battle is very interesting. Someday you should read the letters that the Ukrainian hetman Mazepa wrote to Peter the Great. Throughout his life, he swore allegiance to Peter constantly. Every letter was saying, you know, you're wonderful, you're our caretaker, we love you, and what. And then suddenly he turns around and goes against him. It's like in that one of those responses to Medvedev's website, he says, we can get a knife in the back from Ukraine anytime. Yeah. And that's what they're scared of. I mean, and that's why they were so astonished that Kravchuk, you know, member of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Ukraine, turns against them and goes for independence, saying this is another knife in the back. And what are these chachli up to? What are they? Have they gone completely crazy? Yeah. And so all this feeling of, you know, being turned against by the younger brothers, the Ukrainians, and this all comes through in Medvedev's letter, this sort of feeling that, my God, you know, where have you children gone, you know, instead of staying with the elderly brother, everything would be nice and and good, and you run off on your own to be savages in Europe. That's the problem.
Sir, time for another question. Ivana Richardson. Is there a way that you could predict what Russia's reaction would be should Ukraine be accepted and join NATO?
Well, first of all, I don't think that's going to happen anytime in my lifetime. But, you know, things can change. I mean, they might feel threatened someday enough that they would decide to join. Well, Russia has, I don't believe they would have any leverage on what to do. I mean, practically they could not do much. What are they going to do? Attack? If you attack, you're going to have all of NATO counterattacking. That's not going to solve anything, you know. That's going to lead to a global nuclear war. So I think they understand that. A lot of this is bluff. A lot of this is just, you know, waving the saber. But I mean, I think the United States also knows that. Are they going to cut off gas to NATO countries? All right. You know, cut it off. We'll get it from Norway. We'll get it from Qatar. We'll get it from the United States, because the United States is going to start exporting natural gas in the next few years. So it's a difficult predicament, I think, right now for the Russian president, and because of the difficulties of this, the tone and the openness and, you know, of that letter to Medvedev, from Medvedev. Thank you.